What's happening, folks? Back for a special request metal reaction. Indeed, I don't know all that much about Black Sabbath, other than number one, I think they're considered one of the metal pioneers, along with a group like Deep Purple, perhaps. Number two, that Ozzy Osbourne was in the band for a significant phase of their history. Nevertheless, I don't think I've heard much, if any, music by them myself. I am aware of this song War Pigs, which I've heard of not only because sometimes you see suggestions for it on YouTube, but also because it's the kind of name that once you see it, you remember it. And I remember seeing it somewhere and thinking, that sounds like it could be a punk rock tune. I listen to a lot of punk rock bands, and a lot of them take a very critical view of war and the reasons that drive it and the people that fund it and so on. So again, my first reaction when I saw it is like, man, that could be on a Subhumans album or something like that. But again, not having really heard Black Sabbath, I don't have a sense for necessarily their sonic atmosphere other than to know that they're considered a metal precursor, so they're, harder rock sounds, heavier guitars, and so on. Nevertheless, also, a great friend of the channel, Han Solo, who requested this, mentioned that this performance in particular, I think, features an especially significant drum performance. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. There were two videos, one on a different channel that was made more recently, but says it's a remaster of the 1970 performance in France. But this one is on the Black Sabbath official page, so I figured that would be the one to go with. Either way, let's hear it. This is Black Sabbath and their performance of War Pigs in France in 1970.
We got a number now called War Pigs. It's a number of our new LP. Hope you like it. Thank you.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. Say, where are you go? Do the War Pigs people know? Oh, Lord, yeah.
Number one, I already find quite fascinating what I'm picking up on lyrically, and secondarily, and in that regard, it does seem like it could very well be lyrics of a punk tune written, 10 or so years later. Nevertheless, I do also like his vocal performance, very powerful, almost like bluesy. And yeah, obviously we've already heard some of the forceful drumming, but I suspect there's more of that to come.
Do the War Pigs people know? Oh, Lord, yeah.
It is crazy to think about this as 1970, though. Again, like there's some elements here which, like I said, have some bluesy characteristics. Some of the rock, like or some of the rock, some of the guitar work. It sounds like what now people will refer to as classic rock. But it's definitely heavy and it's got this like hard drive to it. Also, the drums speaking, not just forcefully, but the rhythms, the rapid fire rhythms, definitely like really cool and surely challenging drum rhythms on display. Oof, that last guitar riff to come in is wicked. Again, not really knowing any of the personnel outside of Ozzy. Like, first of all, Ozzy is a crazy person, clearly, and secondarily, the rest of the guys like are very into their performance. It looks like drummer in particular.
The scene of beast appears, it is falling at his knees. He sends out hero fire, cast the priest into the fire. Praise for all bad sinners, watch them eating dead rats in the wherever you go, through black masses people go. Oh Lord, yeah.
Like bluesy barely begins to cover it. Like he just has this deep, soulful power and rasp to some of the lines. And this particular guitar riff right here, like the depth and power, speaking of which, is remarkable.
Oh Lord,
When mentioning this song, Han Solo or someone else talked about Animal from the Muppets, but I mean, it's like that insanity of drumming, or like what I haven't seen video of it, but Budgie from Creatures slash Susie and the Banshees, like I've heard that he kind of has this crazy animal vibe when he plays, and it's just like the power or the frequency and the ferocity of the playing is crazy. I don't know, again, any of the other members of the band, but this guy's a guitar champion. One second to see that again. This is 54 years ago.
Thank you very much.
Like, what the hell? I mean, honestly, the drum work there, among everything else, again, the guitar shredding, Ozzy's vocals, like, way more incredible than I would have ever guessed. I guess just because, the little bit of Ozzy that I'm directly familiar with, it's much later and, like, his solo work, and he doesn't quite sound like this in the songs I've heard. So yeah, that was just crazy. And then yeah, we got a tiny shot of the bassist, but admittedly he didn't seem to be on camera as much. So I was hearing his performance and enjoying it, and it was cool when we got that quick shot of his playing style. But yeah, he was sort of not visible as much as the others. Either way, an absolutely insane performance. The lyrics did seem to be very much running in the direction that I would have guessed in advance, although again, I didn't catch everything. But from talking about the sort of bodies piling up and generals ordering things and so on. There was that line about like what is it, throwing the priest into the fire. I wasn't sure like if it was in relation to again like my references are all punk rock, so subhumans, religious wars, the way in which the religious leaders are a huge part of why people are sent off to far off lands to fight and to die. And it felt like maybe it was a sort of reversal of that, where it's like, well, they're the ones causing that. Well, they should be the ones who were thrown into the fire. But definitely didn't get enough to know if that's what was happening for sure. But yeah, a really incredible performance. Definitely keen to, get myself an audio copy of this song now that I've heard it, and ultimately look into them some more. Ultimately, I will begin to go through all sorts of requests, music videos. In the early stages, I'm still largely just beginning to um, wade into doing music video reactions for groups I've been audio deep diving on for a long time. But again, over time, I'd love to start checking out music videos and live performances of groups that I'm not familiar with. So, all in good time. Let me know what you think of this. Shout out to Han Solo again for suggesting it, and I will see you next time. Peace.